morning of October 17th, a drummer appeared, followed by a British officer waving a white handkerchief.
Mr. Washington, we just heard that the British had captured New York and even tried to capture Thomas Jefferson, but they didn't succeed.
Tell the British Cornwallis that he has to surrender because we have most of his army. He is surrounded with the American on one side and the French and Spanish on the other. He knows we will never win. Cornwallis got the message, but he was too embarrassed by his defeat, and he didn't want to surrender to this ragtag bunch of colonial commoners.
Tell George Washington that I'll send some of my men to the surrender ceremony. I'm not feeling well today. I don't know if I'll ever feel well again.
Cornwallis sent an aide to surrender in his place, and the war was over.
Refused to be sidetracked from their goal or to be drawn into any agreement that would threaten to weaken America's independence. Despite their relative lack of experience, they bested the most sophisticated diplomatic minds in Europe.
And on September 3rd, 1783, J. Adams and Franklin signed the Treaty of Paris, an agreement that ended the war and gave full diplomatic recognition to the United States of America. The Congress officially ratified it on January 14, 1784. It was an extraordinary document, for it also redrew the map of North America.
Under the terms of the treaty, Britain agreed to new borders for the United States, including all land from the Great Lakes on the north to Florida on the south and from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi River. Britain also agreed to remove all its troops from America. At the same time, the United States would allow all British troops to return to England. America agreed to pay all existing debts owed to Britain, and also agreed not to pursue loyalties still in America, but to allow those that left the country to return.
After the preliminary Treaty of Paris was signed, the French diplomat remarked that the United States would be the world's greatest empire, which was a swipe on the British Empire. Yes, sir, replied a French counterpart, and they shall all speak English, every one of them.
At long last, the war was over. The real work of building a new nation could begin.
The early years of the United States were full of turmoil. At first, Congress tried to govern through a charter called the Articles of Confederation, adopted in 1781. The charter gave Congress inadequate authority. Most of the real power still belonged to the individual states, which governed by their own laws.
Chaos started to develop, so it was decided to form a stronger central government. After much debate at the Constitutional Convention that met in Philadelphia, the American Constitution, one of the greatest documents in political history, was born. Overall, it gave more power to the federal government and established 3 separate branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial.
Washington, one of the delegates, wrote about the Constitution to his friend Lafayette, who was by then back in France. The result of 4 months' celebration. If it be good, I suppose it will work its way. If bad, it will recoil on the framers. No one was sure how it would all work out.
In 1789, after the new Constitution had been ratified, the Electoral College, which had the responsibility of electing the President of the United States, unanimously chose George Washington to be the first president.
On the eve of his election, Washington confided to his friend General Henry Knox that he was accepting the office with great misgiving and reluctance. He foresaw an ocean of difficulties which he believed he lacked the necessary political skill. Integrity and firmness are all I can promise, he concluded. Maybe the voyage long or short, though I may be deserted by all men.
The first capital of the United States of America was New York City. On April 30th, 1789, Washington was sworn in at a ceremony that took place on Wall Street. The large crowd witnessed the event was jubilant. Their joy was reflected on celebrations throughout the country. I greatly fear my countrymen will, but I expect too much from me, he said to a friend. But Washington's fears about his own qualifications turned out to be unfounded. He proved to be a great president. But his firm guidance of the nation through 2 terms in office established a solid foundation for the new republic at the beginning of its life.
Now if you can find your hymnals in the row and the seats in front of you, we're going to sing some patriotic songs ourselves. Go ahead and open up to My Country 'Tis of Thee, page 571.